Our last piece of content was an article on LinkedIn and Medium about the mistakes companies make in setting up live TV news interviews via Zoom with broadcasters such as CNBC and Bloomberg, and how to avoid them. The errors, that is, not the news channels. I highlighted one appearance in particular by 3M Chairman and CEO Mike Roman on CNBC's flagship Squawk Box show as an example of how not to look and sound when doing a live remote interview. But I'm not going to reiterate the article here, so it's probably worthwhile going back and reading it. There's a link in the post as it has valuable insights on how to get it right. While you can't expect results on a par with a live appearance in a major network's own studios, interviews by video conference app are becoming the new normal because of remote working. So marketing and communications teams have to know how to ensure that their representatives look and sound good via Zoom. That means using the right gear correctly. So opt for a mirrorless or DSLR camera over a laptop camera or webcam. Absolutely never use the computer's internal microphone, and pay attention to lighting. So to show what's possible, we're recording this entirely through the Zoom app with a mirrorless camera and a lavalier microphone plugged into a Windows 10 computer. We haven't done any editing. This is the raw footage and audio straight from the Zoom recording with no post-production. That way, you get an idea of what you can expect if you use a setup like this, either for video conferencing or for streaming for an interview. The key piece of equipment needed to make this work is a video capture card. I'm using a Camlink 4K, which is a good, inexpensive, plug-and-play device that works seamlessly with Zoom. The downside is, because video conferencing has become so popular during the pandemic, these devices are in high demand and are therefore often out of stock. This one only arrived a few days ago, weeks after I ordered it, hence writing an article instead of first doing a video on the topic. To get going, you download a utility, connect your DSLR to the HDMI port on the Camlink, and plug the Camlink into a USB port on your computer, be it Windows or Mac, desktop or laptop. As for audio, you just plug your lapel mic directly into the camera, although you can get cleaner sound by connecting the microphone first into a preamp and then into the camera. And lastly, make sure your subject is lit from the front rather than from the top or from behind. I was surprised how much light is needed to get a decent image and ended up using a 220 watt LED light at 100% output, which is way more light than I usually need for an internal video. So be prepared for that possibility and make the light flattering. We used a big, deep softbox with a grid on the front to diffuse, soften, and direct the light evenly with no harsh shadows. We also set up a hair light above me and added some colored lights to lift the background. As for framing, you can be seated and have a tight shot like this, or you can stand and opt for a wider shot. In both cases, the key is that you look directly at the camera and not down into an upward tilting laptop screen. A third option is to go for branding behind you, either on a TV screen or a vinyl backdrop with your logo printed on it. Just make sure you get the 3 essentials right. Use a DSLR or mirrorless camera rather than a laptop camera or webcam. Never use the computer's internal microphone, and use enough flattering light. The post has a link to our blog where you'll find details on the equipment used to make this video. Now, it'll take time to dial in the light, audio, and camera settings. For example, the frame rate and shutter speed might need adjusting to stop flickering if you use a TV backdrop. But if you regularly work remotely, aren't near a TV news studio, and think this is something you should be doing more often, then it's worthwhile putting in the effort. Because when it comes to protecting and boosting your corporate profile, TV is both critical and unforgiving. And you want your valuable live appearances on Bloomberg, CNBC, and any other news network to stand out and be memorable for all the right reasons.